Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at the long-awaited sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Taking place 6 years after the first movie, Sugar Rush Arcade Cabinet is broken, forcing Ralph and Vanellope to travel to the internet via the newly installed Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi router in Litwak's arcade to retrieve the piece capable of saving the game.
Oh, that's like Hawiwi, Wi-Fi.
Remember he pronounced it incorrectly.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. Okay, so in this one,
what's Wi-Fi?
Right? It's maybe it's one of those new handheld games I heard about. So this one, they took a very long time to do, 6 years. So it actually had the same amount of time it took to for the movie to be released. It was the same amount of time within the movie, so I guess they were going in real time. None of these characters have aged a day, so it works out.
They're digital.
Right. And so in this one, instead of focusing on the video game characters, this time they are going to the internet to get the game piece. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, with this one, it goes a little differently than a lot of people expected, which turned out to do very well since it got nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. It was nominated at the Golden Globe Awards and the Critics' Choice Awards. But the thing is, like I said, we did not expect what we were going to get, though, when we first saw the movie.
And financially, it was successful. Also, it took $175 million to create, and it earned $524 million at the box office. So yeah, it's definitely considered a success, even though the plot changed and the messages changed for this movie.
While the first one was very, very great. I mean, nothing was new about the video games and stuff. It had a slightly basic story, but it still had a good message in it, and you really enjoyed it. For us, we felt a little differently from this movie because not only have they added the internet in here, they didn't really... We expected a whole big parody or a fun part of the internet. What we got was instead just an advertisement for the internet, like you see on YouTube. Heck, YouTube's in the movie. and it was funny because in the original storyline and the concept art, they had parody names, so you knew what they were supposed to be. They couldn't say it, but I guess Disney put the extra dollar to actually pay the companies to be mentioned and shown in the movie and actually use the websites in the movie. So now it's the joke's kind of lost since they're all real.
I think that's one of the drawbacks. Always one of the drawbacks that possibly can happen with doing a sequel. In the original movie, it was new, it was exciting because it hadn't been done before. It was trailblazer, and you loved it. It was perfection in terms of the casting for the voice actors, the plot, the storyline, the messages that were in the movie, and as you said, us as well as hundreds of millions of other people were waiting for the sequel. The sequel did not bring the freshness that I expected it to bring.
You're right.
I thought it would do something new again with the same characters, same voice actors, but giving us something that was groundbreaking again. And I really believe that Disney tried. You can see the potential that was there for this movie. But as you said, when you're watching it, there's just something missing, that fun factor that left you just overjoyed and joyously expecting the next one isn't there.
Right.
So if they have another one, it will be a surprise to me. And then we found out more watching the special features, how there were different concepts for the same movie. And those concepts seemed like what we were waiting for and expecting. Exactly. But a decision was made not to use them.
Right. There were two different versions where Ralph is going to be the internet star, hence the title. And it would kind of feel like Vanellope was being left out because he's become an internet sensation. And another one was going to have a villain. This one actually didn't really have a villain nor a Disney twist villain, which was actually a good thing because most people are tired of the Disney twist villains because it's every movie just about. And another concept, it looked like everybody, the main characters from the first movie, were going to get lost in this movie with the addition of Q*bert and Sonic the Hedgehog. Perhaps they did not want to pay for more voice talent because they did have the original cast in here, but it's obvious from the movie that only John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman and Gal Gadot were the biggest draws for the movie or the biggest names for it.
Oh, don't you dare forget Taraji P. Henson.
Oh, of course not. But it looks like in terms of all the dialogue, these three kind of had like the most dialogue of the movie, or even if you want to get more
she
specific,
had a lot of
the other
dialogue
two.
when you got to a certain part when they were actually in the internet. They started, working as the internet works, and then they had the glitch and the problems.
Right.
Then she really became a focal point. So yeah, to me it seemed like these four were the focal point of the movie.
Right. And then another
she
thing.
Was yes.
Right, and that was the joke. It was a literal algorithm and a parody for YouTube and BuzzFeed, so they combined them both. So I guess they couldn't use those two sites, so they made up a mashup of both sites. And the great news is, like we said, all the original people came back. The only bad part about it is that Jack McBride, Jane Lynch, and others, they were reduced to having just a few lines. They were there in the beginning of the movie, and then they come in at the end of the movie. Because we assumed they were going to come in at the middle of it, like they were going to help out. They get trapped in the internet like the original plan. Everyone got lost in the internet, and you're seeing all these old video game characters pop all over the internet, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. No, they literally had nothing to do with anything, nor did they cut back to them at any point until the movie was over and everything's been resolved in the 2 hours you've spent on the internet.
Which was unfortunate because they were a real big reason why the first movie worked so well and was so successful. Now, I think that a lot of the money that was made for the sequel happened because people were really excited to see the sequel, not knowing exactly what to expect.
Exactly.
Because in the trailers and the sneak peeks, they really didn't let you know that these major characters from Wreck-It Ralph 1 were not going to be focused on in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Right. Because you could hear in the deleted scenes that these weren't stand-ins for the voice actors just, before they recorded. They were recording a whole nother movie that got entirely scrapped, and then give more lines to Ralph and Vanellope, who really were the focus of the movie the entire 2 hours. And the part that I know people really did enjoy, but unfortunately it sort of halted the movie a lot. Now, as much as we enjoy seeing the Disney princesses and the Oh My Disney in sight, and we enjoy seeing them in there, and Vanellope joining the ranks of the princesses, but putting a spin on it, and they don't have to be.
But there was no star.
Right. Yeah, they left out Star Butterfly because she doesn't have a movie. And so in here, while she did meet them and she got them to be more relaxed, they were wearing more modern clothes, they were wearing the gowns all the time. That was great and it was fun. And even though they had a few really bad jokes for the princess fans out there, which you'll see if you see the movie. And Vanellope even got her own song in there as to the trope of the Disney princess song. Look in the water and then all your problems will be solved. So I'm looking at the water. Now the problem was Disney focused way too much on their own properties. We know it's a Disney film. We know Disney owns everything. You didn't need to have the princesses hog up a lot of the screen time, which they didn't do a lot of, but it seemed like the focus drifted from helping Vanellope to bad people on the internet. They portrayed a lot of the people on the internet as heartless, or they have too much time on their hands. Or they like to steal things. It was never really a good side of the internet portrayed. It was all the things we know about the internet that's not the good part. But they never showed the positives about it. It's just the get-rich-quick parts, the trollers, the haters, and that's it. I'm like, if that's the case, then the internet is not being portrayed as a fun place to be. It's just a place to waste all your time on.
True. Now, I think that what worked for this film was Gal Gadot definitely in the role that she played as as Shank, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
She was awesome, and she worked well with Sarah Silverman doing Vanellope.
Yes.
I thought that was a great addition. I personally would have liked to have seen more of that.
Right.
As we mentioned, I would have liked to have seen more of the original characters from the first movie make an appearance in here and bring to the story. Also, I would have liked to have seen Ralph have grown more. In this movie, they made him retrogress in his behavior, which was unfortunate because you saw the character grow in the first one, and he became more conscious of others and more positive in himself. He made his first and best friend. And in this one, you had kind of a return to the first one where they have an argument and the heart's broken again, which really wasn't needed. I would have liked to have seen something more solid and more progressive had happened with them. I do think the princesses worked.
Yeah.
I like the scene. I love one of the rescue scene. I won't say more in case you haven't seen it and it'll be a spoiler. I love the rescue scene, the things they did, and how they talked about each princess. I do agree with you. A couple of the jokes probably might be a little too sensitive for some people.
Yeah.
But they really do point to some tropes that Disney does tend to use.
Right.
So they technically were making fun of themselves, knowing that they have a habit of these overused tropes and tropes that really aren't that particularly fond of, I should say.
Right. Heck, they have so many cameos from all their products that even at a point we're going to include the Golden Girls, which is a good thing that they didn't do because I don't think anyone would have gotten that. Well, someone would,
but those who are older would have gotten it, who were watching TV in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, or seeing reruns. Yeah, we would have gotten it.
Yeah, and they felt that was a little bit too strange to throw that in there with. It would have stuck out way too much. Because you know about Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers and Pixar and stuff. So
maybe they just should have had Betty White do a voice.
Yeah.
Voice cameo. Because everyone knows who Betty White is.
Right. Maybe that would have been.
Worked.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit better.
I do wish that, as you mentioned, there had been more focus on the internet itself as an entity rather than doing a lot of product placement and mentions and
hodgepodge adventures that don't connect.
Right. I do agree with that.
Right. Because it seemed like that's what was a lot of the movie. It was just one thing. Oh, we can get the puppet doing this. Okay, we can get the puppet doing that. We can get the puppet doing this. And then they go into this online, the online gaming where you don't even rest until the game gets an upgrade. So you're playing 24/7. It was really very odd how a lot of it was structured. And then along with what you said with Ralph, in the first movie, a lot of people knows like he was actually portrayed as being smarter than he looked, and that was part of the thing you liked. A lot of people thought he was kind of an idiot or the bad guy because he was just the villain in the game. Well, in here, you got that he's more than just the villain of the game. But in here, he's portrayed like he's really immature because he's constantly messing things up.
From the first movie,
right?
Which is unfortunate.
Right. He made some mistakes, but he knew he made mistakes, and you had your moments in there where he could grow still. But in here, it just looked like everything popped up to a point where the entire internet was at stake because of Ralph's immaturity or insecurity, as they're stating in there. He was so insecure that it almost destroys the internet. So it's really odd how he went from being the hero to pretty much the villain of the game, plus retconning their own continuity with Vanellope when they clearly stated that a game character can't leave its own game and go to another one, but then that's done in this movie, and which and people have said that's never explained why it was okay for one character to do it when it was a crisis in the first movie.
Disney. Now, I would like to say that the women in this movie were strong characters and excellent personalities. As I said, Gal Gadot as Shank, of course, Sarah Silverman. Sorry, Sarah, as Vanellope, and Taraji P. Henson as Yes. I would have loved to have seen Jane Lynch round this out, and it would have been perfect as far as female casting. They were great characters. They worked. They were perfect. They were awesome. They were the best part of this movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I really wanted to see more of John C. Reilly again with Ralph growing as a character, but for some reason Disney didn't have him grow. Vanellope grew. She grew a lot. And it started being more of her movie than their movie.
Right.
Now, that could have been a good thing if, again, there have been some really great major lessons. But they seem to be only one lesson that we can't even mention because we don't want to have any spoilers.
Right, and it's a really
But the lesson that it was very odd. And it also, it kind of supported isolation, disloyalty, breaking friendships, which I found kind of odd versus the original movie that talked about being loyal and growing friendships, making new friends, stepping out.
Not judging.
Exactly. So, yeah, if there's a Wreck-It Ralph 3, it'd probably be successful simply because this one was.
Right.
But I really do hope that they let the character Ralph grow more and they come out with something that was just as unique and groundbreaking the first movie
Right.
in the third movie.
Right. We did enjoy the after credits scene, though.
Absolutely.
But that was definitely funny. They did capture one of the funniest parts of the internet.
Yes.
As for that sequel you mentioned, they said they might do it. There's a potential for do a spin-off with just the Disney princesses all together.
Well, that's not a spin-off. If it's the Disney princesses, it's a entirely different movie.
Yeah, and then there's an idea for a third movie that they could possibly do. Probably wait another 6 years for it, but there's always a possibility for it.
Well, if they do the Disney princesses, you need to add Star Butterfly.
Right? It's like, she deserves it! Okay, so that's our take on the movie. If you've seen this movie, let us know what you think, what you like and didn't like about it. Did you think it was awesome, or was it kind of average?
And if you're expecting and wanting a Wreck-It Ralph 3, let us know in the comments below what you hope that 3 will encompass as being a different movie.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Masco Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
I'm gonna wreck it!
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to